Hi everyone, this is Lydia with Printable Perfection. Today we're going to be making a word search puzzle using Canva. So as you can see, I've already gone to the Canva website. You can find it just by doing a Google search. Now Canva is a good way to get started with printables because it is absolutely free. They do have a subscription plan, but you can also use it for free in a limited capacity, but it does everything that we're going to need it to do for free. So once you're here, you will need to sign in for your free account. Once you've done that, we're going to go here to custom size. You're going to want to change this to inches, and then you'll type in 8.5 and 11. And you see it does pop up some suggestions down here, but we're just going to do create new design. All right. So here we are. We have a fresh page to work with. I'm going to zoom it in just a little bit so we can see what we're doing. The first thing we're going to do is put in our title, what our word search is about. So we go here to the left to text, and you just pick one. It doesn't really matter because we're going to format it the way we want it. Now, something to be cautious with is that when you're using any program really, you have to be sure that the fonts that you're using are for commercial use. If you click here, there's a whole bunch to choose from, but you have to make sure that they're commercial use fonts. Now, I've put together a list, actually, of commercial use fonts that I found just by doing some research on the internet. Okay, you can take a screenshot of my work, or you can go do your own research. Those are some, and here's more. Okay. But I think for my word search today, I want to use Oswald, this one right here. Okay. Oops, I moved the text. I meant to highlight it so you could see it, but this one right here. So I'm going to go back into my design. I've got my text highlighted, so I'm going to click here on this box, go to the search and type in Oswald. There it is. Now, Oswald by default is bold. I don't want that, so I'm going to click the bold, take that off, and now I have it formatted the way that I'd like. So I can click this arrow thing right here and use it to move it around. I'm going to go all the way to the top. Now, these pink lines are actually very helpful because the pink rectangle shows you the margins of your paper. Pink line down the middle shows you when something is centered. So right now my title is centered, aligned with the top margin of the paper. Okay, now I'm going to click on my words, get it highlighted, and delete it. And then I'm going to type in my title. I'm going to do things you see on a road trip. Now you can make yours whatever you want it to be. If you're a teacher, you can make it vocabulary words related to your lesson. If you're a Sunday school teacher, you can do like books of the Bible. But I'm taking my kids on a road trip, so we're going to be doing things you see on a road trip because I can give them to them in the car and they can do it on the way. Okay, now we are going to put in our grid. Now, this is a bit of a challenge, but we can do it. We're going to go over here to elements. We're going to take this arrow and go across to square, and then we're going to use this square. Now, we don't want a black box, so we're going to come here to color and we're going to make it no color. But now we can't see where our box is. So I need to highlight it, go here to border, make there a border. So now I can see my square, but I can't see the text inside. So I'm going to go here and click black. I need it to be black text. And I'm going to go ahead and click change all just so that it will keep it that way. And then I'm going to go here. I want it to be the Oswald like we had used before. Now I know from past experience that I have to make this 12 font to be able to fit the grids that I need on my page. And then I can take it down to maybe a 4x4. Now let me see, if I double click in it, there's my cursor. Okay, it makes it a little bit bigger. So I think I'm going to have it 5 um, by 4. It's going to have to be that size. Okay. I'm going to delete my text though because I'm going to be copying and pasting a bunch of these things. All right, so I get my square. I'm going to hit Control, or here I can I can either do Control C and Control V for copy and paste, and then line it up, or once it's highlighted, I can click that for duplicate. And basically, you're just going to be copying and pasting a bunch of squares until you get 15 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Honestly, I mean, you can do as many as you want. I'm doing 15, but you can do less. You can do more. Okay, see, at that width, I can actually fit a couple more. So let's try 3 more. Let's make it 18. Okay, so I've got 18 rows. I'm going to highlight them all. Now, if I go up here to position, okay, they are lined up perfectly. If they were not lined up perfectly, I could click this and it would evenly space them horizontally, but they apparently already are. So I'm going to go here to group, click that, and that instead of 18 individual boxes, it makes it one unit. And I'm going to try to line it up. Okay, it's going to stick out of the margins a little bit, but that's probably okay. If you wanted to, you could delete one of the boxes. Okay, so I've got one row. Now I need a bunch more. So I'm just going to keep duplicating and lining it up, highlighting, duplicate, line it up, and so on until I get a grid the size I want it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 8. Let's do 4 more. Let's do 12 because that will leave me room for my words at the bottom. So I've got 18 by 12. So I'm going to highlight them all. I'm going to go to position and we're going to space evenly vertically, which is up and down, just to be sure that they're all lined up accurately. And then we're going to do group. That way, now I have one big grid instead of a bunch of little squares. And if I'm worried about it sticking out of the margin, I can even go in and shrink it down. So now I have a grid. This is where my letters are going to go for my words. And it should work. Okay, I'm going to put it about there. And then down here, this gives me space to put my words. And zoom in a little bit, go down here. Now let's put in another text box. Doesn't matter which one, we're just going to insert one. We're going to change it to Oswald. And let's do 18 because we don't need it really big for our word list. Now, this is where I'm going to put the words that the kids are going to find. So remember, my subject is things you see on a road trip. You would put whatever words pertain to your subject. If you need help creating a word list, I have another video that shows how you can use ChatGTP, which is an AI website, to generate a list of words. But for now, I'm just going to type in 10 words of things that I might see on a road trip. So I might see a bridge. Let me click on it, get it to go away. Okay, delete all that. And then bridge. I might see a camper, like an RV. Maybe we'll see an airplane out the window. We're going to be driving through the country. I bet we'll see some cows and some fields. Now, I want to do 2 columns of 5 words each. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't need that space. But what I will do is duplicate this, bring it over here, and then replace these words with new words. So we also might see a truck, probably see some signs. We may see a restaurant, tourists, probably some rocks out the window as well. So those are my words. Now I'm going to want to highlight both boxes. I'm going to go back to position. They are aligned properly at the top. Otherwise, I would be able to line them up at the top or in the middle, but they already are. So I'm going to group that together so I've got one box instead of two. And this is what it's going to end up looking like. Okay, not bad. And then I can, add some pictures or stuff later, but for now, that's not a bad looking word search. Now we get to go in and put our words. So what we're going to have to do is on each, so like when I put bridge, let's say I want to put it here. I'm going to double click on that one. I'm going to use all caps, put a B, double click that one, put an R. I don't think, yeah, I can't just arrow over. I have to click on each. Okay, so there's my word bridge. Let's say I want to come up here and do camper, C-A-M, and you want to space them out. You want to put some sideways, some up and down. You can do diagonally. You can make some words go off of other words. For instance, let's say I want to use um, this D to do the word fields. Okay, so after the D, there's going to be an S, but then it's going to be, let's see, one, two, three, four words, four letters above it. One, two, three. So the F starts here. I, E, L, D, S. Okay, so you can make them overlap or whatever you want to do. Okay, so I've got all my words put into my puzzle. As you can see, they're going every which way, up and down, diagonal. Some are, off of other words. Others are just completely by themselves. I tried to leave some space in between. So that's it. It's basically just a random thing. You just put them in there however you want. Now, what we're going to do is go in and we have to fill in all the extra squares with extra letters. So we're just going to click in a square and put a letter. Click in another square and put a letter. And really, there's no rhyme or reason, no right or wrong. Just fill in letters. I would recommend, kind of be cautious that you're not accidentally spelling out words you don't need to spell. And, I try to space them out. I don't want like three or four of the same letter all right there together. But other than that, it's just completely random. I'm just going through clicking and typing letters. And again, this is pretty tedious. So rather than you watch me do this, I'm going to pause it and fill in my letters. All right, as you can see, I now have all of my letters filled in, and you can't see where my original words were anymore. So we're almost ready to go. Now, I don't like these black lines between all of my letters. So what I'm going to do to get rid of that, I'm going to highlight my grid. I'm going to go here to where it's border style, and I'm going to click none. There. Now you see I just have a grid of letters. That looks a lot better, right? A lot tidier. So I've got my grid, my title, my words. Now you could just be done there if you want. You don't have to embellish it. I like to make it look kind of pretty. So I'm going to move my words down at the bottom. I'm going to move my grid down. When you see those purple circles, that means that it's an even space between whatever item's above it and whatever's below. So we're going to do that. That way there's this space here and this space here is even. I think maybe what I'll do is put something underneath the word here and then maybe a picture down here. So you cannot just go in to Elements and search graphics and find pictures to use because unfortunately, again, you have to think about copyright and what's for commercial use. Now, I already have downloaded some pictures that I know are commercial use. So I'm just going to show you how you would insert something. I have a whole nother video that tells you how to find commercial use products, but I'm going to go down. This is my folder of clip art. As you can see, I have a lot. I'm going to do what's called embellishments, and I've got these not borders. Let's do dividers, and this one, I like these. I'm going to do what is a dotted line. This is one of my favorites, and you can do this two different ways. I'm going to click uploads, and then if I click my picture and drag it over, it will copy it to it. You could also click upload here and then go in and find your file that way. So now I've got my cross and line. I'm going to insert it. I'm going to put it right there in the middle and make it wide enough to fit my stuff. Okay, so you see that's how I can't, there we go. Okay, so there, you can see it's evenly spaced between the title and the grid, and it's right in the middle of my paper. That's perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to do one about travel. I think what I'm going to see, this one here says states. I may have one that is like the entire United States. Let me see. Okay, those are just individual states. I could pick the one that's mine, but I'm going to pick the United States. Okay, so that's what I want. I'm going to click it, drag it over here, and I'm going to ungroup my words because I want my picture right in the middle. So I'm going to separate my words a little bit, and then that will give me room to put the United States right here. I'm going to line that up in the middle of my paper. Okay, get it all lined up, and then I'm going to actually just move my words over. Okay, now what I'm going to do is highlight these three things and make sure they're centered. Okay, there. So I've got my picture, I've got my words. Let me actually make sure my words are centered off of I don't know, I worry about spacing. You guys may not. That may be fine. There. So I've got things you see on a road trip word search. I've got my grid with all my letters, my words defined, and a picture. So that is how you would make a word search using Canva. Of course, you can add as much embellishment as you want. You can keep it as simple as you want. You can change the number of words, the number of letters in your grid. There's so many different things you can do with it, but hopefully that will give you a foundation to start making your very own word searches. I hope you liked this video. If you did and you found it helpful, please click the like button and please check out my channel so that you can find other videos to help you make your printables perfection. Thank you. I'll see you soon.